Okay, so I'm going to show you how to start a tree and how to share a tree. So first, to start a tree, you're going to want to add your home person. Usually this is going to be you. There are cases where it could be other people, but in most cases, you're just going to go ahead and click on this first Add Home Person button. And here is a box. It lets you determine whether or not this is you that you're entering or whether your home person is going to be somebody else in your tree. So if it's you, go ahead and leave it checked. If it's not, go ahead and uncheck it. Then you're just going to put in your name, birth date, birthplace, gender, and hit continue. The next thing you're going to do is you have to add either a father or mother, and you don't have to have a lot of information. In fact, you can start with very little and then worry about come back and build on it later. But you go ahead and enter in a parent's name. You have to determine whether they're living or deceased. And then really the rest of it you could fill in later, or you could fill it in now if you know it. And then once you have it, you just hit save. Once you've done that, it's going to let you name your tree. You can name it whatever you want it to be. It also lets you determine if you want that tree to be a public tree, which means anybody with an Ancestry account can come and look at it, or whether you want it to be a private tree, meaning only the people you invite can look at it. I'm going to ask you to start out by unchecking the box so that it remains a private tree while we're getting everything set up and going on it. At any point later on, you can come back and you can decide to make that tree public and go ahead and share it. Or I can teach you how to share it with only certain individuals that you want to share it with. So once you've unchecked that, go ahead and hit Save Tree. And now it's got the beginning of a tree here. And you can see it's added a bar right here underneath your main toolbar. So you're going to click that bar and you're going to go down to Sharing. Ancestry gives you 3 different ways to share your tree. You can either send an email, you can use somebody's username if they already have an Ancestry account, or you can create a shareable link and then send that link to anybody that you want to have access. Keep in mind that with a link, if I send a link to you, that gives you access to my tree, and then you share that link with 10 other people, those 10 other people are also going to have access to my tree. So you lose a little bit of the control with the shareable link, but if you wanted it to be able to be shared among family, that would be a way to go. So once you've determined which method you're going to use, you're also going to have to choose the role you want the person to play. A guest role means that the person can come and visit your tree, they can look around, but they cannot touch, so to speak. They can't change anything, they can't add comments, they can't add pictures, they can't do anything, they can only look. If you put them at contributors role, then they will be able to add pictures, add comments, add notes, but they will not be able to add people, change vital information, any of that major stuff. If you give somebody the role of editor, they have the power to do everything in this tree that you can do. They can't touch your other trees, but this tree, they will be able to add people, delete people, move people around, change vitals, do anything in the tree that you can do. So be very cautious about who you give that out to. I will ask that if I am working on your case, that you go ahead and set me at editor. I will need to be able to have all the same permissions you have in order to grow your tree for you. So go ahead and send me the email at thejusticetree@gmail.com and set me at editor setting. If you set someone at editor setting, you can go ahead and send the invite and you're done. If you had somebody, let's say at contributor or guest level, and you want them to be able to view living people, you're going to have to click this tree setting button, find them on the list, and check this box that tells them they can see living people. Anyone who has editor status already has this permission, but if I changed to contributor, I could then take that away. So you want to make sure that you've set the people up with the correct permissions to have access to the tree you want, and that if you're setting someone, let's say you meet a distant cousin and you're sharing your tree with them to help them along on their way, you might decide that it's okay for them to see your distant ancestors, but that you don't really want them to see your living people. So then you would want to remove that permission. At any time, you can come here, and anyone you've invited or even links that you've created, you can remove them by simply clicking the remove button, and it takes away that permission instantly. So you still always have complete control over your tree.